Okay, so basic speed progression, if we're gonna take this through like a 6 to 8 week course, like the first week or two, and how we progress this is really based on how they adapt, how quickly they pick up the skills. So one thing we'll do probably almost every session, even if it's redundant, is some sort of arm swing. Within that, we'll start with like a seated position to a half kneeling to a staggered stance. So on the first session, this may be a 10-minute period so we're getting it correctly. And we're looking at arms at 90 degrees, rotation at the shoulder, not the elbow. So this is probably like 75% of the kids doing this part wrong. And then once we get past this, we may progress this so that you're only doing the staggered stance for 2 minutes a day during the speed session. Okay, and then we move into skipping progressions, which may just involve marching in place, and then moving into skipping in place, then progression high knee A skips, lateral skips, etc. And again, that's however they are picking it up is how fast we can move through that. However, we'll have to coach on the run. This may not be accomplished in one setting. Okay, then we're working on our posture, knee drive, dorsiflexion. So we'll first try to get that accomplished with some wall marching. Okay, we'll go over that and how that puts us in the right sprint posture. If we're always talking about acceleration, posture. Okay, this is basically an introduction to acceleration. And then if we have sleds available, we'll do some sled march. Applying basically the same principles we're doing here. Now we're moving, and then we'll do the same thing with a band. Now we get to incorporate our upper body and arm swing with that. Okay, and that should all then just progress to starts. Okay, these are developing our posture, then we get to a starts and we kind of put it live. So we'll start with a push-up start, 3 to 5 reps there. Again, looking at posture, knee drive, and that acceleration posture. Then we'll go to an up tall and fall start, trying to let them naturally get into their sprint or acceleration posture. And then we will progress to a staggered 2-point start. Sometimes these are interchangeable. Like we may do one before the other, just depending on what we think is going to work for that group in terms of just getting into the right postures. And that's really phase one. And so these are all done at 10 to 15 yard bursts. So it's not conditioning. We want them to be pretty much fully recovered between reps. So if we have lines that are 5 to 6 kids deep, that's fine. They don't have to get 1,000,000 reps very quickly. We're just going to progress this. And this is a skill set. It's like anything else. So that would be like phase one. So that's the first week or two.
Jackson's tall. Pretty tall. Wow.
Yes. And the next progression from that high knee A skip would just be a low knee quick skip. So we do the same thing, starting with the march to a skip in place. And then tell them to shorten it up and move. We do a lateral skip progression. We start the same way, marching, skipping, moving. Okay, and then we can also do a crossover skip. And we build that progression just into that speed. It's just developing rhythm and coordination. So you can see me from there. Okay, on the wall march, we're really looking at posture and angles, and where that foot is striking behind the hip. So we want to start with our hands about shoulder height against the wall, our feet behind our hips, we're on the balls of our feet. And we'll start with just a real basic exchange from here, just doing singles on our command. And then we'll progress to a double, where each rep is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're really trying to focus on that ground force contact coming from behind the hips and maintaining posture, not climbing as I go. And then the last phase of that will be a triple. Run. 1, 2, 3. March. We crisscross the bands around the chest, and the partner's gonna have like a constant tension throughout this movement. And I'm gonna try to replicate my lean, and then march. Pull hard. Pull hard, yeah. There. So I just keep that natural forward lean. The resistance is just enough so that I can cheat and I can lean into it without falling over. But I'm keeping that angle of that force production coming from behind my hip. And so it's similar to the wall or the sled, just now with bands. Our angles a little bit. So if I'm in this push-up position, when I go to start, we tell the kids, take off like a jet, not a helicopter. So they should gradually rise. So over a 10 to 15 yard span, that head should still be down and they should still have that really sharp 45-degree angle. Versus helicopter stuff where they pop straight up and now we've lost our acceleration posture. So the start here. Push-up start. We want to climb. So as soon as I pop up, I'm climbing here and then I'm sprinting. It's basically a 10-yard space. We just want to maintain that posture throughout that 10 yards. So as I'm sprinting, I'm climbing. So 2 to 3 steps on that climb, heads down, good lean, and then resist that head popping up, which is going to take your whole torso up as well. So then we'll either go, depending on how they do on that one, if they're having a lot of success with that, then we can just maybe jump to our up tall and fall. If they're still struggling with it, we'll just put them into a staggered stance. On the staggered stance, it's here, basically like a sprinter stance. We're gonna really load this front foot and make sure we've got like a positive shin angle so I can't false step or jump back. I've really gotta just push off that front foot, explode. So we'll do that off both feet. Make sure they're pushing off. We just wanna avoid any false step. Make sure we can maintain that posture. If that's successful too, then we'll go to the up tall and fall drill.
Speed.
Okay, on the up tall and fall drill, we want our feet here. And again, we want to get to a natural fall or lean for my body type, and that's going to be my sprint posture. So I'm going to tell the kids to get up on their toes, fall forward, and at the last second, that foot's going to punch out, arm's going to drive, and then I'm into my sprint. So from here, it should look like this. So in that, kids will tend to do 2 things. Really fall early, not trust how far they're falling. One can fall at the last second. And then stand up real quick. As soon as that foot hits the ground, boom, they're right back up. We want to maintain that lean for like 10 yards, 15 yards. So on those sets, reps things, remember this is just a learning progression. So we want to spend time on these things enough so that they're starting to get it. Especially in the arm swing, it's a big muscle memory effect, whereas they've probably been running a certain way, their whole life. So we're not trying to retrain that pattern for them. So this may take a little bit longer at first. Let's say they pick this up in the first 2 to 3 reps, great, we're moving on. If they struggle with the skipping, we'll stay on it, but we're not gonna hold up everything else just because we can't skip. We'll still work on that the next time. Then the marching, the same thing. We wanna make sure they're getting this, and maybe we just barely introduce live action start drills in week 1, just so they know what we're trying to get to. But we may be stuck on this series of movements here for a week or 2 until they actually get it, and then implement these start drills. And then from there, if we can accelerate, then as we start to integrate change of direction drills and other types of drills, they'll always come back to this because they're always talking about change of direction, going lateral into linear speed. And this has to be true in everything they do for linear speed. They have to be able to get to that posture and accelerate. We find in sports that's 10 to 15 yard bursts is predominantly what they're doing.